Welcome to Narrative Theory, telling a story. Narrative is defined as an account or story that describes life experiences. Narrative theory suggests our interpretation is demonstrated through storytelling. Storytelling is essential through social work practice. The practice principles of narrative theory are as follows. Principle 1 suggests that people are the storytellers of their own lives. Principle 2 focuses on the meaning and appraisal. Meaning and appraisal are used to ensure a client's activity is attached to an experience. Principle 3 focuses on sharing stories and how it can help alter our perception. Also, client sharing stories can provide more opportunities for interventions. Principle 4, when stories are perceived negatively by society, social workers can assist clients with seeing the story in a positive light. Narrative theory can be useful in the treatment of students from diverse backgrounds. In her article, Morris discusses the major assumptions of narrative theory. There is no truth, only different interpretations of reality. All people create meaning through narratives. Culture is a people's collected stories, and the person is never the problem. She finds that due to this, the counselor becomes more of an anthropologist, and the narrative way of assessment allows students of diverse backgrounds to express their problem story through their own cultural lens. By co-creating a revised story with a client, Morris asserts that there is less of a chance of dominating the client with one's own cultural biases. Clark writes that addiction is often the result of feelings of guilt by the addict and development of a story in which they are to blame for their problems. Narrative theory then offers clients the opportunity for individuals to rewrite their stories in a way that removes blame from the client. Clark discusses two techniques in her study and explains how to implement them in a group setting. She also notes that narrative theory is an invaluable tool in individual therapy with those struggling with addiction. Narrative theory can also be useful in the treatment of trauma. Trauma causes high levels of stimulation in the amygdala and blocks the hippocampus from working properly to process the experience. Whitty found that through narrative theory, he was able to eliminate the response to the traumatic event in the client of his case study and was able to enable her to stand up against many obstacles in life. Whitty found that the time span of therapy was also short. The clinician and client were able to get control of the response to the traumatic event in a few months, where other therapies had been unsuccessful. One of the strengths of narrative theory is the versatility of the theory. Narrative theory uses a wide range of individuals from children to adults. Social workers can use narrative theory with clients that come from a diverse cultural background. Applying narrative theory with multiple age groups and culture is a natural fit. Storytelling is an art form that we learn from a young age and use in our daily lives. Narrative theory is mostly meeting clients where they are at. Allowing clients to tell their story can empower and give clients outlook their present and their past. Narrative theory helps clients to see that they are not the problem, that the problem is the problem. Separating the problem from the clients can be very powerful. Helping clients to see that they are more than their struggles they endured is also empowering and is the beginning of rewriting their stories. Narrative theory is interested in the micro and meso interactions of clients and is a good fit for social work. Narrative theory seeks to understand the socially constructed ideas about race, ethnicity, gender, and how this affects clients' development and thought processes. Then helping to deconstruct internalized assumptions of race, gender, and ethnicity and replace them with the message that will lend to growth and development. One of the limitations to narrative theory is it is not considered evidence-based practice. Narrative theory may be largely subjective. Due to narrative theory's underlying philosophy, the result is smaller qualitative studies. This leads to limited resources for research potential. Since narrative theory is not an evidence-based practice, managed care plans and insurance plans typically will not cover services using this technique. Narrative theory relies on the philosophical underpinnings, making it difficult to measure the effectiveness of the technique. Due to this, there is difficulty in measuring its success. Those clients with reduced verbal or cognitive abilities may be less likely to benefit from the narrative approach within counseling due to their ability to communicate their story effectively. It is important when using narrative theory to be aware of various limitations in order to optimize success. It is recommended to combine narrative approaches with other techniques as it cannot yet stand on its own and can be complicated to get covered financially by insurance. These are our references. Thank you so much for listening.